Welcome to Book Crew. We are on KCCC 930 AM in Carlsbad, New Mexico on Mondays at noon. We're also available wide on every major podcast platform out there and on video at YouTube and Rumble. On Book Crew, we help writers get their book written, edited, published, and promoted. I'm writer and marketing Jedi Dirk Hooper, and I'm joined as always by author and editor Beth A. Freely. How you doing, Beth?
I'm doing good, Dirk. How are you?
Well, you're dodging haboobs.
I'm dodging haboobs, and you're dodging tornadoes.
And I'm dodging tornadoes. That's what's happening with me.
Technically, I'm dodging tumbleweeds. The amount of tumbleweeds I had to dodge trying to get home today was fun. They make me laugh every time. I don't know why.
I like tumbleweeds too. It seems like I used to see tumbleweeds more often than I do. I haven't seen tumbleweeds in a long time.
I think that they're kind of neat in my opinion. I mean, the last time I went out to Phoenix, when I drove out to Phoenix,
you see
it was
them out there.
Super windy. You know, the road between here and Phoenix, it was super windy, and I'm watching tumbleweeds, get stuck in 18-wheeler grills and everything, and you're dodging them, man. You're trying not to hit one of those things.
Sure.
So, but they're kind of neat.
Look,
They're kind of neat.
I'm going to get us right into the thing because I suspect that this is going to take us maybe a little bit longer than usual. Yeah. If you are following what's happening on our Book Crew Facebook group, I posted something that kind of spurred this discussion about draft to digital and some new fees. And there was a lot of discussion on there, which is great. That's the reason why I posted it, is hopefully to get some discussion. But it's not just happening there. Throughout the indie author universe, there's a lot of discussion on what's happening. And it's not just happening with Draft to Digital. There's some news with Barnes & Noble, and there's some other things. And if you're if you're an independent author, the times are changing.
Yeah,
things are happening right now. So it was Beth's idea to do an episode on that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with the Draft to Digital news, and then I'm going to hand it over to Beth. From goodreader.com, they say, new accounts on Draft to Digital will include a one-time $20 fee. This activation fee, combined with their verification tools and human reviewers, will help them maintain a secure, high-integrity publishing environment. In an email to authors, the company, Draft to Digital, said, quote, like many platforms, we've seen a significant increase in automated and low-quality account creation in recent years. This onslaught from automated content farms threatens reader trust in indie titles and risks associating indies with low-quality slop. A modest activation fee can make a real difference and allow our team to stay focused on supporting genuine authors like you, unquote. In addition to that, an annual maintenance fee of $12 will apply to accounts whose earnings from book sales total less than $100 over the preceding 12-month period. If you earn $100 or more from your book sales over 12 months, then those fees will be waived. So, Beth, first, if you will, give us kind of an overview of what you're seeing out there from other authors, and then, respond to this however you wish.
So, what I'm seeing is a lot of vitriol among the indie author community right now in regard to the $12 fee. Most of these people already have their Draft to Digital accounts, and they're complaining, oh, here they go again. They're screwing the indie author. We can't handle another fee, and why are they doing this? And how come, authors who make over $100 aren't getting dinged with this and everything? Well, it's a very negative connotation right now. And I have had discussions with quite a few different authors that have gone sour because they don't want to hear the actuality of it. And here's what it boils down to. For the last 5 to, let's see, this is 2006. I went indie in 2000. So for the last 6 years, Drafted Digital has allowed you to create an account, and it has cost you nothing. And it has been wonderful for authors and everything else. And then within the last year and a half, we have seen the rise of AI. We have seen the rise of automated slop, as they're calling it. And it's already a difficult world for indie authors in the first place. A lot of readers do not like indie authors. They feel indie authors are lesser because they don't feel their books are as edited as well. They don't feel their covers are as nice. They don't feel the stories are as good as someone with one of the big 5 publishing houses. Well, anyone who has ever queried a big 5 publishing house knows how hard it is just to even get somebody to look at your book before you get an automated letter saying thanks, but no thanks. Which is why many of us have gone indie. I went indie because I didn't want to be constrained by an editor who tells me how to write my book, what kind of little pigeonhole I need to put my book in, etc. But I'm also one of those indie authors that I have the education to edit properly and to write properly. And while I know other indie authors out there don't have that same education, it doesn't mean that their books are slop. So in an effort to try and make it better for us indie authors, Drafted Digital has put this into play. And it makes sense from a business. Some of these authors out there that are being very vehement about the $12 fee, quite a few of them that I've seen, they're not treating this as a business. They're looking at it like, well, I am a single mom and I can't afford this or I can't afford that, and this is just another fee. To which, at this point, I'm going, okay, time out. You want Drafted Digital to keep offering you the service for free, and you are allowing them to do this and allow AI slop or all the AI things slide in under the radar to compete with you. Well, that's not the point. No, honey, sorry, that is the point. If you cannot afford $12, it's $1 a month. You have that much in your couch. If you cannot afford $12 a month because you're not making $100 in 1 year, it's time for you to take a step back and look at your marketing, because that's really what this comes down to. $12 a year is not a lot of money. $20, that $20 fee for a new author on Drafted Digital pays the salary of the people they are hiring to review every single account and every single book, to stop all of these automated accounts from being created and all of these AI, unedited, really horrible books being put out into the world and competing with us. And this is the point I've been trying to make to people, and some of these authors don't want to hear it. But what it comes down to is you have to start treating your authorhood and your book writing as a business, because that is what it is. If you're writing books just for fun and you're not really serious about it, then why are you publishing? Seriously, why are you publishing? So if you have a problem with $12, which is $1 a month, which is 2 venti Starbucks coffees a year that you can't drink, then it's time for you as an indie author to look at what you're doing towards marketing your book and getting more sales. The reason why people who make over $100 aren't being charged the $12 fee is because all of those fees have already been taken out by Drafted Digital. Drafted Digital has already made their fair share of the money, which, by the way, that money that they take out of your royalties after your book is published, that pays for the server that hosts your book, the ability to pay their people to keep the servers safe, the ability to keep their server updated, the ability to offer things like print on demand, which when I joined Drafted Digital 6 years ago, they didn't offer, and they didn't offer audiobooks either, which they are now offering that. All of this is business expenses. This is all marketing expenses, and they are doing this from a business perspective. They are not doing this to screw the indie author. And I want to make that clear. They're not doing this to screw us. They're doing this to help us by keeping their stuff up to date and safe for our books and safe from the AI slop. So again, if you're complaining about $12, then you need to look at what you're doing on your marketing and why you're not making $100 a year. I have over 20 books out. I don't make $100 a year on Drafted Digital. I cleared 85 last year from Drafted Digital, which makes me go, okay, time to up the marketing a bit. Are you using Drafted Digital? Different marketing features. Drafted Digital is one of the easiest platforms to change your prices on. You can go in and decide, I'm going to have a 99-cent sale, and mark all your books down to 99 cents for 1 week. And you can do it 2 days before you want to have the sale. And Drafted Digital will have it all marked down and all spread out to Amazon and Barnes & Noble and Kobo and Smashwords. And suddenly you got a 99-cent sale that's going to go crazy. And then in a week, they put your prices back up and you don't have to do anything. Smashwords constantly has promotions going on for indie authors. Are you taking advantage of that? If you're not going to make $100 a year, and you're going to have to pay $12. And if you don't want to pay that $12, then there are other platforms for you to use, but you're not going to get the same distribution, because I know that Drafted Digital works with Smashwords, and they're one of the only places that works with Smashwords. Drafted Digital is the only place that works with Fable, and Drafted Digital has a larger library connection than any of the other platforms. Most of my sales off of Drafted Digital are from the libraries. There are libraries across the United States that offer my books, and people are checking my books out of the libraries. I understand why some of these indie authors are upset. I get it, but at the same time, I have to question, are you looking at your writing career as a business, or is this just a hobby? Because you don't think twice about paying $10 a month for BookFunnel. You don't think twice about paying, $10, $15 a month for other marketing services like Book Blurb or whatever, if to run your ads. You don't think twice about paying the $25 a month for a Canva subscription to make your little social media posts. So why is suddenly $1 a month to have your stuff on a stable and safe platform suddenly such a problem? And the other thing I'm going to mention is, if you have used Drafted Digital in any way, shape, or form, regardless of whether or not you have published a book through them, if you've used their platform to just format an ebook, or to format a PDF, or to do a swap, they have every right to charge you. I know part of the issue that people are having is that, I never published with them, and I can't find a way to get rid of my Drafted Digital account. Well, if you use Drafted Digital just to change your book from a Word document to an EPUB, you have used their service. They have the right to charge you. And if you don't want them to charge you, then send them the email like they requested and ask them to delete your account. They may still charge you the $12 before they delete your account because you use their service, and that's within their right. But don't go complaining about, I just did it, I just used it for this or that, and think that you shouldn't be charged when technically you should be, because you used a business's service and they deserve to be paid for it. There are other places right now that are looking for people. Ingram Spark is one of them. Ingram Spark is slightly higher charge for their printing and their shipping, but I have seen the quality on both Drafted Digital and Ingram Spark. And firsthand, I can tell you Ingram Spark is worth the slightly higher charge that they give you. They're also very consistent. They are also offering other marketing things where one of the things they offer is where you can get a link from them with how much you want to charge for the book, and they'll give you this link. And you tell them, I want $6.25 out of this $30 book. You set that up with them. You send out that link to people who want to buy your book. You'll get the $6.25 that you asked for. And no, Ingram Spark does not charge to publish your book. They got rid of that $49 fee almost 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago, to be honest. And the only time they charge is if you have to make an update on your book after 60 days. So there are other places out there that you can use if you want to distribute wide, if you don't want to pay Drafted Digital's $12. But really, again, what this comes down to is, what are you doing with your marketing that's keeping you from making $100 a year? $100 a year is not a lot, guys. There's absolutely no reason why any of us shouldn't be hitting that mark.
We're going to be covering a few of the things, a few of the other options here in just a second. Let me just say a few things that occurs to me about this charge. Number one, I have one book on Drafted Digital. It was very easy to set up, get it out there. I really like the service that they give you, where they allow you to have one link that leads you to a page where it shows you all the different places that you can buy the book.
The universal book link, yeah.
That's it. That's probably worth $12 a year alone if you do the stuff. I have one book. I have another book that I need to get on there. I just haven't had the time to get it on there. I will not hit $100 on my one book. So I will definitely be required to pay the $12. But, it's incumbent upon me to hit the $100. I mean, and that's what I'm working toward is hitting that thing. I don't really blame Drafted Digital for doing this. It doesn't strike me as a money grab. I think what it is a shot across the bow. I think that they're telling us that they need more money to stay afloat, and that should concern everyone. I'd like to point out that the environment that we have for indie publishing is evolving radically in a short period of time.
It's evolving faster than most of us can keep up with.
What we're seeing is the proliferation of prompting books and what it's doing to the system. People can produce a prompting book one a day. They can crap out some AI slop and package it with a Canva cover or whatever and put out 7 books a week. And that should concern everyone. I don't know what the answer to it is, but this is the way that Drafted Digital, they're telling you that their system can't handle 7 books a week from every author, especially 7 books a week that no one wants. No one wants those damn books.
They're flagging they're
not
flagging
worth
those
anything.
accounts. Yeah,
But
they're
the
flagging
system
those.
still has to bear that,
Yeah.
bear the weight of that, and has to. It's not. If you've ever run a podcast or a website, you know what it takes
Yeah.
to put files on a server and to host them and to distribute them throughout the internet or whatever. And that's what Drafted Digital is doing. And they're telling you, we're either going to need, at the bare minimum, we're going to need $12 from you, or once you hit $100, we're making money, we're fine, we're all good.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, we need to be well aware that Drafted Digital is the first to blink on this, but you should be prepared for Amazon to do this, for Barnes and Noble to do this. Everyone is going to have to figure out what they're going to do to deal with all the slop that's coming out.
So Drafted Digital actually had a conversation with someone on the internet, and my friend Angel flagged the thread, and I'll have to find it again. But he reached out to Drafted Digital's customer service and asked them, certain things about what is going on here, why the $20 fee, why the $12 and everything. And Drafted Digital told him straight out, this is what we're doing with the $20 fee. The $20 fee is being assessed to new authors to keep what they refer to as book scammers and book spammers from logging onto the system and creating 50 different accounts for their 50 different crap books. Now, of course, the question then becomes, okay, fine, but what if you're an author and you suddenly want to take all of your stuff off of KDP and go wide and throw your 30 or 40 books up on Drafted Digital? Drafted Digital is hiring people to review these accounts to make sure they are legit. And, if they reach out to you and say, hey, we're questioning your account, are you legit? Are you, what is going on? It's a very simple response. Yes, I am a legitimate author. I am moving my stuff from KDP to go wide, or I am a publisher and I am taking all of my authors and I am putting them on Drafted Digital. This is part of the reason why they're including this $20 fee in this whole thing. They are trying to weed out the book scammers from the legit businesses, the legit small indie publishers, the legit authors. And that requires manpower. And I agree with you, Dirk. I foresee other places, other publishers like KDP.
Yeah, they're small, so they blinked first.
Yeah, I foresee other places where you can go out and publish doing the same thing. When you stop and think about it, you can go to every place that Ingram Spark or Drafted Digital pushes your book too wide, and you can load your book up one at a time on each one of those places.
Yeah.
The amount of time it would take you to do that across 5 books, let alone your entire collection, makes that $12 a month and that $20 single fee extremely appealing.
Yeah. Let me just say one more thing. We'll get onto the Barnes & Noble thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what the solution here is, but you need to think from a 10,000 foot look at this, that AI generated books are right now hurting indie authors who are actually writing their books, because these slop books are harming the reputation with readers.
Yes.
Readers go, hey, I'm going to try an indie book. I've heard that indie books are fun, so I'm going to go out and I'll buy this. And then they get an AI slop book and they're like, this is terrible. Now I see why no one should buy indie books. And then they stick with the big publishers. So being an indie publisher has always been an uphill climb.
Yeah.
And the AI slop is not helping us. So I don't know what the answer is, but the platforms are going to deal with this in whatever way they're going to.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the bigger publishers are going to be able to bear the weight of it longer than Drafted Digital obviously can. But maybe there is some solution for indie publishers to get together and figure out a way to say this is not a slop book.
Yeah.
And, even if you're not published by someone, there's a way, a process that you can go through that proves that whatever you're putting out, I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, AI is getting better every day. There will be a point where you can't tell that it's slop, but 90% of the slop books that are out there, it's really obvious that it's just trash. You
can tell they're slop.
That people are flooding the market with. And we need to be aware that not only, it's not just the company's problems. It's not just the platform's problem. It's also indie authors. It's our problem that we're going to have to deal with at some point, because those people are hurting real authors' reputations. That's my point.
Yeah. And Drafted Digital, this is Drafted Digital's solution, at least a short-term solution to try and help us. And
I mean, I wish that Amazon would review books. I mean, other than finding out if the thing has grammar on it, or if people are doing low content books where they're doing like journals and crap. But I don't know. Amazon has let crap slop books take over their environment for a long time now, and that's something that they're going to have to deal with. But what I'm saying is that all of us are going to have to bear the brunt of this, or it's going to damage our reputation so much that it's going to go back to like the year 2000, where if you self-publish a book, that is automatically perceived as a bad thing.
Yep.
We've been through, let's call it 10 years of the golden age of self-publishing, and I think that we're coming to the end of that, and we got to figure out kind of what's next.
Yeah.
So kind of on the same topic here, Barnes & Noble is beginning to limit titles.
Barnes & Noble, just to specify, not Barnes & Noble the store, Barnes & Noble Direct, which is the self-publishing arm of Barnes & Noble. Just so the listeners understand the difference.
Okay. From Barnes & Noble, they say a single Barnes & Noble Press account will have a limit of 100 individual titles. Each title can be available in both print and digital format and count as one of the 100 titles that you publish. Starting May 14th, 2026, if you have over 100 titles listed for sale on a single Barnes & Noble Press account, we may remove the titles, we meaning Barnes & Noble, may remove the titles from sale at our discretion to bring your account in line with the 100 title limit. All right, what do you think about this?
Okay, so, people are up in arms about this too. So keywords here, may and at our discretion. So more than likely, Barnes & Noble's not going to, if you have 100 titles, okay, if you have more than 100 titles, Barnes & Noble may very well review your account, again, looking for the slop, the AI slop, okay? I personally don't know any indie authors that have 100 titles out. Dirk always jokes about me and my 17 million books, but, I have just over 25 titles out. I've been doing this for 20 years. I don't know personally any indie author that has over 100 titles. And if you do, please pick up the phone, call me, let me know, because I want to know your secret.
Well, there was a story, and I hate to even mention it without having the story in front of me, but someone was publishing like romance books and was again using AI, and this individual had over 100 books that she had published in 1 year and made $100,000 on these books.
She might be why Barnes & Noble Press has decided to take a look at this. So
I don't think there's any doubt that story is what prompted this.
I'm pretty sure, again, Barnes & Noble is looking for book scammers, people who are, just flooding their accounts day after day after day with fast AI written books. And so, if like I said, if you are an indie author and you have 100 legit books that you wrote on your Barnes and Noble press, you've probably been established with them for quite some time. And I have a feeling you're probably okay. Don't take my word on it. I'm not saying you are, but seeing what Drafted Digital is doing and what Drafted Digital is saying, and now Barnes & Noble Press is saying we're limiting you to 100 titles. We may, at our discretion. That tells me Barnes & Noble Press is actually going to be looking at accounts with over 100 books very closely to see if these are legit authors with legit titles, that have been established for quite some time and are not, rolling out 70, 80 books a year. I suspect the accounts they're looking at are probably less than 5 years old. And I really don't think anyone in the indie community, I don't think any of us have anything to really worry about if you are publishing directly with Barnes & Noble Press. And that's the other thing. I want to make it very clear that this is not books that you put out via like Drafted Digital or Ingram Spark or even KDP that go wide and send it to Barnes & Noble. That's not what this is. These are books that are being published directly from Barnes & Noble Press. So that's different. Like I publish on Ingram Spark, say Dirk publishes on Barnes & Noble Press. That's the difference here. So if you have over 100 books on Barnes & Noble Press, you might want to start looking at why they're interested in your account. And if you're legit, I don't think you have anything to worry about.
If your name is Dean Koontz, you're probably
Stephen
okay.
King. Yeah.
I mean, those guys probably have over 100. Koontz probably has over 100.
They're also,
but he's earned those.
And they're also publishing with Big Five. So
right. I'm just making a joke. Yeah. And I know indie authors. I mean, we've talked to them on here where, these people are legitimately producing, a book a month. I mean, that adds up. That adds up. You can, if that's what you do and you optimized, it's perfectly possible to produce a book a month, especially if you're doing novellas and, collections.
I follow an author on Facebook and she's put out, what is this, April going into May? I think she's put out 4 or 5 books already this year. And it's a series that each book takes place in a different decade. And I've been watching her put them out. And I said to her, I said, "You don't have a full-time job, do you?" She goes, "Nope." She goes, "This is my full-time job." I said, "Yep." I said, I said, "You've got your rhythm." Yeah. She said, "Yeah, I do." An indie author who has their rhythm and who knows how much they can write within a month, within a week, putting out 12 books in a year, one every month, is not unheard of.
Sure.
Heck, I've done it. I did it last year.
Yeah, you've been killing it. All right. Well, what I want to do is I want to get through all of these things. We've only got a few more minutes left. So I want to kind of go through this overall, and I will let me get through the different sections, and then I'll check in with you, see if you want to say anything about these. So this is a list. This is just, so that there are other options out there. Give you an idea. And, again, I think maybe it'd be a great idea to have a round table where we get some people in here and we talk about maybe take each of these individually. But the first section is the top retail and self-publishing platforms. Obviously, that starts with Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing. That's the dominant platform for ebooks and print on demand, offering up to 70% royalties and exclusive options like Kindle Select. You also have Apple Books, a global retailer with a consistent 70% royalty on sales and suitable for worldwide reach. You have Barnes & Noble Press, good for reaching Nook users with direct access to physical store distribution, so you can actually get it in a brick and mortar store. You have Kobo Writing Life, major global retailer focusing on mostly ebooks, particularly strong in Canada and Europe. And you have Google Play Books, a broad platform providing 70% royalties and direct access to Android users. So there's your big guns right there. Those are the big retail self-publishing platforms. After that, you have the aggregators, which means that they distribute to multiple retailers. At the top of that list, we just talked about them. It's Drafted Digital, which was a top choice, but both Beth and I are on that. A lot of authors are. It's a top choice for simplifying distribution to Amazon, Apple, Kobo, and libraries. They will take a percentage of your net profit. And there's the additional fees if you don't make $100. You also have Ingram Spark, that Beth talked about a little bit ago. It's essential for authors needing print on demand for bookstores and libraries. And by the way, I just saw a retailer who was talking about, I'm not going to buy your book if it's being printed through Amazon, because Amazon is the devil. And so if you want to get your physical book in a bookstore, you're probably looking at publishing it elsewhere than Amazon. It's nothing personal to you, but they just think that Amazon has damaged their business. Bookstores see Amazon as a direct competitor, and so they're not going to help them by, putting their books in their store. So you're going to have to find another print-on-demand service, and one of those, we're talking about aggregators, but one of those is Ingram Spark. And then finally, you have StreetLib, who I'm not familiar with.
That's a new one.
It's a strong aggregator, especially for European markets. So there's another option for you, mostly in Europe, apparently. Then we have what we're just talking about, print-on-demand specialty platforms. Lulu is one of them. I've printed with Lulu long time ago. I had a photography book that I printed through them, and they did a great job with that. They're a little expensive if you're doing print on demand, but the quality is there. Blurb is another one that I have used for doing photo books. They do high quality, image heavy photography books. BookBaby, known for professional editing, design, and publishing packages. And Book Vault, strong printing quality with integrations with Spotify and WooCommerce, which is something that I'll come back to here in just a minute. You also have serialized and niche publishing. Maybe you've heard of a few of these. Wattpad or Radish is excellent for serialized fiction in building a loyal reader base, often used for YA, young adult, and romance. I've heard about this many times. I don't know much about it. Royal Road, popular with sci-fi, fantasy, and lit RPG genres, which is up my alley. I like that. And even Substack is an option. You can publish your stuff up there and charge a subscription. And similar to that, also Patreon. You can charge a subscription, $3 a month or whatever, and then you can put your chapters on there and let people read you can read your book as it's produced. And then finally, I have two more things: direct sales platforms, which includes Gumroad and Etsy. I think everyone knows about Etsy, but Gumroad is pretty similar. Mostly ebooks,
e-publishing
products that you want to put through Gumroad. And finally, the last option, which really we need a whole episode to dig into this, which is publishing on your own site, creating your own platform. Just a minute ago, I talked to you about Book Vault. You can attach Book Vault to your Shopify account on your own website, and people can request books from you, and you can be hands off with it, just like you are with like Amazon or something. They will go through the entire process. They'll make they will buy it through Shopify on your site, and that will automatically allow Book Vault to print the thing and to send it to your customer.
You can do the same. You can do the same.
I would love to do that.
Yeah,
I would love to be offering it through my own site, but that's, like I said, that's That's a whole other ballgame.
You can also do EPUBs with if you have a site that's WooCommerce, which is similar to Shopify. WooCommerce and BookFunnel work together, and
there you go.
You can distribute your EPUBs through that way.
Yeah. And there's all, ASB publishing is another kind of option in this mix. So you have independent publishers that have their own bookstores and allow you to put your book on there, and then they will take care of all of the back end on that sort of stuff.
Yep.
And so it's kind of a cross between putting your book out on a major platform like Amazon and putting it on your own site. You could go with an independent publisher. Mm-hmm. And I say ASB because we're obviously friends with the people who do that. And Beth is publishing books through there, so she knows a little bit about that. But that's just one example of one other option that you have to publish your books out there. Is there anything you'd like to say to kind of wrap this up? Because we're kind of over time right now.
So I encourage anybody who is interested in the international market to look at Ingram Spark or StreetLib. I have to look into that one. But also, Google Play Books is a very, it's a very unknown platform. And I actually have my books on Google Play Books. It's very easy to upload your books on there. And even if you never make a sale on there, I highly recommend that you go ahead and put your books up on Google Play Books, because it is an extra place for you to get exposure, and it doesn't cost anything.
Do you get SEO juice from putting stuff on Google Play?
On Google Play? Oh, yeah. You get big time SEO juice. Big time.
Okay. I hadn't thought about that.
I've had people tell me that they found my book on Google Play from looking up, certain SEO terms. But they don't have a Google Play Book account or anything, so they go and find it somewhere else. But it's another option out there. So
yeah, I will also say that is not a complete list. That is just an example of what's out there. There are a lot of options out there, and if you're doing there's the question of whether you go exclusive with Kindle Select or if you go wide. If you are going to go wide, go as wide as you can. Put it everywhere. Get it in libraries. Get it in independent bookstores and stuff.
This is why I published.
Get it on everything.
This is why I publish on both book, Drafted Digital and Ingram.
Yeah,
because both offer me different places, and Google Play. So yeah, get it out there in every spot idea. You possibly can. Yeah. We'll visit this topic again, and we will. Like I said, I really think we ought to do a roundtable where we talk to a bunch of people about kind of what has worked for them, and give people options on this thing. Is there anything else you want to add, or if not, I'll take us home. The only thing I want to add is I want to remind all my indie authors out there, this is your business. Use everything you can to your advantage at this point.
Yeah. It's very different than when I started doing stuff back in the 90s where, with no internet and no print on demand and, no ability to kind of create your own business with the services. We're very fortunate right now.
But you still have to hustle.
That we have. Yes, you still have to do the. You still have to do the work. You still have to do the work. All right. Well, before I go, I want to say that Beth A. Freely is offering web design and book trailer services, and I'm offering author social media management, designing book covers, and doing author branding at themusesfunhouse.com. I'd like to invite everyone to join and participate on our Book Crew Facebook group. It's facebook.com/group/Book Crew Podcast. Join and tell your author friends. Finally, visit our site, bookcrewpodcast.com, for the information about this episode, our previous episodes, and articles from Beth and me about how to write, edit, publish and promote your book. For Beth A. Freely, I am Dirk Cooper saying, dream hard.